So Limba, this is the neighbour's land that we're passing through now. And all of this burns every year.
Yeah. In August, July, August, this place, right now you're seeing some vegetation. But in August last year, this was all cleared, burned.
Yeah, I've seen the photos you sent.
Yeah.
It was ash.
Only.
So, right here where I'm standing, a few months ago, Limba took a photograph and sent it to me. And on this side is the neighbour's land, which was burned completely to the ground. It was all ash, apart from a few of the big trees. You can see some of the palms which survive. Their leaves burn, but then the trunks grow back. Thanks to the fire break that the team had cut here using machete and also the strimmer, the fire was not able to leap over and burn the land where the Recover Centre is. So the vegetation on this side didn't get burned last year. The year before, everything burned, as it does every year. This whole area has been burning every year. And what that means is that the vegetation we see here, even though you can see it's kind of green on both sides, here it's much more sophisticated and better developed. So we have many, many more of these trees. These are little nitrogen fixing trees, or leguminous trees we call them. And they have this little frilly leaf pattern that you can see. And there's quite a few of them you can see dotted around. These are all fixing nitrogen into the soil, a very important element for growth of plants. It's improving the soil and maintaining the soil quality. As they get bigger, they'll give us shade, they'll give us mulch from the leaves they drop, all kinds of useful functions. And they'll start to shade out the grass, and then other trees will be able to grow in here. They'll follow on in the succession. Over there, we lost lots of nutrients in the fire. We lost a lot of nitrogen, we lost a lot of carbon, which was carbon stored in the soil, carbon dioxide into the air. And so here you can see the vegetation's it's a bit lower, and there's much more of this kind of grass and quick stuff that's growing back. So it's growing back fast, but it's showing us that the soil is much more degraded. There's not really very many trees in here. There's not a huge amount of soil improvement going on at the moment. There will be, it will regenerate, but we're a step ahead over there. If this burns again this year in the dry season that we're about to go into, this is back to zero again. We'll be standing here like this again next year. This one on the other side, however, will be 1 year on, 1 year further into regenerating back to being a healthy, full, vibrant, fertile, productive forest. And over here, we're going to let nature take its course, but we're also going to help her along a bit by planting in some other things into this system as we go, staying with this natural succession, this improving of fertility and increasing the height and the variety and the diversity of crops, but there will be things that we can use. And in amongst all of this, we're planting the rosewood trees as well as food, building materials, construction materials, fuel, and lots of wildlife habitat. One of the things that Limba's noticed is in here, a lot of the animals have started to move back in again as the habitat becomes richer. More lizards, more chameleons, many more birds. There's an eagle was making its nests in one of the trees. So you can really see as the animals move back in again, they become what Limba calls the agents of extension. They come in and they help to spread the seeds around and spread the fertility around, and they take part in the regeneration. And all of this has been made possible by cutting and maintaining this fire break. And the neighbours are starting to notice this, and some of them are starting to maintain their own fire breaks around their land also, so that they don't lose their crops and the trees that they plant to the yearly fires that sweep through here.
We are right now in the Recover land, so we have here around 42 hectares. So I will tell a little bit about the history about this land, how we started to work in this area. So this area was a long time ago, so all deforested. The deforested. You can see we don't have big trees. So we started to to make regeneration of soil. We started to make reforestation for this area, restoration of the area. So that's why I call this is an art project. Yeah, reforestation, regeneration, and restoration. So our first experience was when we get 50 little plants of rosewood, and we planted in this area. So and when we planted, so we were taking care around very softly, very nice to them. But I think they didn't like the soil. We say they didn't like this restaurant. They died almost, I can say 90–80%, because almost we have two alive. So we were getting information, watching the nature, so talking about with elders, talking about visiting the other village where we can find a rosewood tree, checking the soil. But we said, everybody said, what about if we can get some soil from that place, and we can bring over here and put around the tree, the little tree. So, and we did it. So, and it's amazing. Yeah, we brought that soil and put in a little bit. We say that they feel like they are eating their food they like. So that's why we can see right now, for example, if you can see over here, the little tree is growing and growing. They are having little new branch. You can see there, and it's growing very nice, very healthy.
So you can see the way they planted these trees, they've taken a lot of care over them, and I think we got about 4,000 of these young ones altogether, and not all of them survived the boat trip back from the nursery. But then as they were planted, each one got this little shade house, and this is to protect them during the really hot dry season where there's less rain and they could dry out and die, but also from being battered in the heavy rainy season as well, because you can see they're still quite small and delicate. And when they were planted, Limber also included in here, along with some planting material, some compost, he also included some soil, as he was explaining, from around an existing established rosewood tree deeper in the forest. And the reason we do that is because the soil contains all of the microorganisms and the fungi and the different types of microorganisms that associate with the tree. So it's very important here in the Amazon, in the tropics, we don't just sow the trees, we also sow the forest ecosystem, which includes the microorganisms that do all the work. You can imagine organic matter in the soil like a raw potato. You or I couldn't eat a raw potato, but we could eat a cooked one. And so what the microorganisms do is they take this organic matter and they break it down, if you like, cooking it, to use the analogy of the potato, which makes the organic matter available for the plants to be able to feed on. And the microorganisms, along with the plant roots, help to bring in all the nutrients that the young plant needs. And that's why when Limber first did an experiment with 50 of these trees, almost all of them died because they didn't have that microorganism population in the soil, because the soil, all this land had been burned and destroyed so many times. But what we've done is we've given the soil an inoculation, if you like, kind of like when you go to the doctors to have an immunization, and it's inoculated the organisms in here that we need for the populations to grow, to support these young trees.
We have a mortality around 7%, 7 or 8% more or less, no more. So, but our first experience, we lost almost all. We had around 98% of mortality. So right now, with this experience is good. So we are thinking to continue this kind of experience.
So we're doing really, really well. And these little trees, they're established now, they're healthy. and we've got the first green shoots just starting to come out of the new growth, which shows that we're going into the dry season now. It's going to get nice and hot and warm. They're going to put on their growth and grow. So that's a really good sign.
We only don't have the only rosewood, so we are associating with different trees. If we are going to walk around over there, we will find another kind of trees so associated, like to mimic the real forest. Yeah, imitating the real forest, because if you walk in the real forest, you you won't see only rosewood, only cedars, only mahogany. So they are associated with palm, tall trees, small trees, so a lot of kind of vegetations, and also animals. So that's why we are trying to. When they are associated, they are symbiotic. So and they needed each other. So that's why we try to do that. So that's why we have, for example, just over there we have a small cedars, and also the legumes, the guayaba, and over there we will see the guava. It's a good fixing nitrogens into the soil, and well, that's why we say that we are regenerating.
This palm tree here is called Ungurawi, and the Limbas noticed that in this forest the Ungurawi really likes to grow near the rosewood trees, and the rosewood trees like to grow near the Ungurawi. So we've noticed that they're friends, they're associated plants. There may be some sort of relationship going on through the roots with the microorganisms and the fungus, we don't know. But it's an interesting observation that we've made. So what we're thinking of doing is to perhaps try planting Ungurawi along with the rosewood trees that we reforest in the new land that we're planting up at the Recover Centre. And perhaps the Ungurawi will help the rosewood trees to grow. So this is part of what we're learning from observing the rosewood trees in a natural forest, and how we can use that knowledge and adapt it and use it in our human-based plantations, so that they're not just a monoculture, they're a more diverse forest, and also we can use. And the fruit of the Ungurawi has several uses as well. It's got an oil in it, an aromatic oil, and there are other traditional uses as well. So yeah, it's an interesting little lesson the forest has taught us.
Our plantation is, you can see it is in a line, and we use this system, I can say, because we have around natural vegetation, and so we are taking advantage to plant the rosewood into the natural vegetation, because we have many legumes which they are giving nitrogen to the soil, and the rosewood is eating the nitrogen. And I was telling before that we are putting other soil from the village where we can find a rosewood tree, and so nitrogen, some microorganisms are helping a lot. So, okay, when we clear our line, for example, like this, we get this mulch to put around the plant. Also, we get some leaves from the natural vegetation. So when we have too much shade, we trim the border of our line, and to put like mulch here, and so we create also an ecosystem for microorganisms to help the little plant. We have in the Amazon here, we have two seasons very clearly. You can see very clearly. It's the rainy season and the dry season. So the mulch helps the little plant. The mulch helps the little plants in dry season. Also, a small roof that we made in this. while the plant will be growing and having it's getting more strong. So this roof will be disappear. So and we will have more natural vegetation so high. So we won't need this roof. It will grow very easy. This is one place of our nursery tree. In this place we are germinating cacao. Cacao is not our first objective, but we have an objective that is our social work in this area, because we need to have a connection with our neighborhood. We need to establish good relationships with our neighbor. So that's why we are teaching and giving some tools, and one of the tools is this cacao, because they have lands, but they don't have nothing in that land. Every year they have a forest fire because they don't have a fire break. So that's why we thought that if we give to them some tools, or like this, for example, they will be in the responsibility, or they will have responsibility in order to take care their lands. If you have a plant into your land, if you don't create break fire, yeah, your plant will be burned. So that's why we are teaching all that kind of system strategies, how to protect the plant. So we are giving something to them, like cacao, and we are asking to them what kind of plants you want in your land. So because we don't want to give, okay, plant this cacao or plant this tree, so because they won't have a love to take care. But if they say, oh, I would like an cacao or rosewood or cedar, okay, because if you give that kind of plant what they are deciding, so they will take care. And so that's one of our objectives, to create a good harmony with our neighborhood. We call this our social work that we are doing here. So why cacao? This cacao is wild cacao. It grows in the forest too, and we get this kind of cacao to give our neighborhood, because in the future they will have income selling the fruit. So that's other point. So everybody knows that if you don't have money in your pocket, you're nothing. So, but how to create the money in your pocket? So, how to create or establish an economy model? So that's why if you don't have this machine that can give you the money, you are nothing. So this is an example, more or less. Yeah, this is the little machine that will create the money, but in a sustainable way. We are teaching that the cacao don't need a cleared area. They need to grow under a shadow. So we need to plant around the cacao trees, fruit, and etc. In the future, we want to establish courses like permaculture design course, we call a PDC, and an ED course, for example. So, and that way, villagers they will be training little by little, receiving and adopting consciousness, how to create a sustainable world, how to establish harmony between the man and nature, how to create economy, how to fabric the little machines or the big machines to make the money in a sustainable way. And so that is the point that we want to establish here in Recover Center. This is the other place of our nursery tree. You can see the plants, they are ready to be planted in the final terrain. And this also is cacao to help our neighborhood. You can see here our nursery has a natural shade. Well, you can see the tall trees cover under the nursery, and our trees are enjoying.
Limba's vision for Recover, the Rainforest Ecoversity Centre, is to provide a centre for training and demonstration, showcasing the solutions needed in the region to stop the spirals of social and ecological degradation. Recover will provide a platform for permaculture and also traditional Shipibo knowledge of forest systems that is in danger of being lost. We're also developing a Shipibo-centric permaculture design course specifically tailored to their needs and culture, which includes a lot of this traditional forest knowledge. Limba is also the project manager for the Lush Peru project. This will produce valuable rosewood essential oil from a protected area of rainforest which still has mature rosewood trees. Some of the profit from this project will go to Recover as income to fund their permaculture training and project work with local communities. The training and accommodation facilities at Recover will be expanded so that people can stay and train at the centre, surrounded by real examples of permaculture ecological agroforestry systems they can use to regenerate their land and also generate sustainable income through small eco-social businesses. The 4,000 or so small rosewood trees that have been reforested at the Recover Centre will grow over the next few years to a size when they can be ready for coppicing and pollarding in order to use the material to produce rosewood essential oil. This can then be sold to Lush or on the open market to other companies. The Amazon is rich in biodiversity and there are many plants that can be grown here which are useful and valuable and can be sold into a number of different markets.
Taking care of plants, that plant will be our economic model to help more people. Hey, hello. Come in. Welcome to the Recover Center. This is we call the mother home, the mother house. Come in. You can see there's the circle infrastructure. This is a typical building in the Amazon. Many years ago, this kind of infrastructure used. So the circle, it was especially built for shamans. So we made this kind of building because to feel the energy of our ancestor. We call this our mother home. So it's called the Maloca. It's very known like the Maloca. Herman, he knows very well around the soil, very well around how to create soil for our plantations.
I work in the Recover Centre, reforesting rosewood and as well other species, timber trees, like Ispingu, like Caoba, and like Cedro, and other plants as well. Also, we're producing cacao saplings to do social work with our neighbouring communities. We distribute them to the neighbouring communities so that they can also have what we're planting.
In the side we have our Maloca. Just over there we have our kitchen and a small place to take shower, and we have also a water system around here. We get the water from a borehole, and we have a tank and a castle. Okay, this is our water system. So we have a tank up there. And we use a pump to pull the water to tank. and we use for irrigation. So you can see a different pipes from different directions. So for irrigation and also for our house and kitchen, so shower. We use the water irrigations in dry season, especially for our rosewood plantation. And I was our tank, the tall of our tank is around 10 meters tall, and it has a good pressure to make a good irrigation too.
So here I am at the top of the water tower at the Ricova Centre, and I've got a great view all the way around. I can see the view of the landscape all around. You can clearly see the part of the neighbour's land where it's been burned, and there's not much vegetation. And over this side, it's beautiful to see all of the little rosewood trees laid out in rows between the natural vegetation that's coming back, and all of the larger trees that are springing back up again and regenerating. I can hear lots of insects and birds, and the whole place feels full of life.